Sure, Heracles is a hero, but is he a superhero? For fans of Marvel Comics, the answer might seem as easy to see as, well, the shirt on my chest. Under his Roman name of Hercules, the ancient Greek hero was incorporated into modern Marvel Comics in 1965 by none other than the legendary duo of writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby. In the 55 years since, Hercules has served multiple times as a member of Marvel's signature team of superheroes, the Avengers, though he has not yet made his entrance into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I'm not asking about the Hercules of modern comics. I'm asking about the Heracles of ancient myth. And I'm asking because in past semesters when I've taught world mythology as literature, some of my students have wanted to know if it would be acceptable to call Heracles a superhero. If we set aside for a few minutes the fact that the concept of a superhero is a modern American invention, more properly applied to contemporary comics and movies than to ancient Greek myths, it is an interesting question, and its answer would depend on whose definition of a superhero we would use as the framework for our analysis. In academic circles, the definition of a superhero that Peter Coogan, PhD, presented in his 2006 book, Superhero, The Secret Origin of a Genre, has proven popular. It's based on Judge Augustus Noble Hand's opinion in the 1940 case of Detective Comics Incorporated versus Bruns Publications Incorporated, in which Hand and his fellow judges on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit ruled that Will Eisner's character of Wonder Man infringed on the copyright of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster's Superman. From Hand's meditation on the essential nature of what he called, interestingly, a comic Hercules, Coogan distills a definition that includes three distinguishing qualities: powers, mission, and identity. The qualities of powers and mission need little explanation. So, first, does Heracles have powers in the ancient Greek myths? For example, is there textual evidence in the myths that would prove that he possesses superhuman strength? So, second, does Heracles have a mission in the myths? For example, is there evidence in the myths that he sets out to accomplish his legendary 12 labors out of a sense of duty to the gods? The quality of identity, though, may need explanation. By identity, Dr. Coogan means that typically a character we could classify as a superhero will have a code name and a costume. So, third, does Heracles have a code name in the myths? For example, is there evidence that, in fact, he has a different birth name and that he assumes the code name of Heracles only when he sets out to accomplish his mission? So, fourth, does Heracles have a costume? For example, is there evidence that he specifically puts on the skin of the Nemean lion before he attempts to carry out one of his last labors? And related to our earlier question about powers, does wearing that give him the ability to accomplish a task that even he would not otherwise be able to do? So, if after analyzing the textual evidence in the ancient Greek myths, we could answer those four questions, yes, 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 and yes, then we could say, yes, Heracles does indeed fit the modern American definition of a superhero, at least Coogan's conception of it. So, for our next discussion in our module on hero myths, let's first take a look at the textual evidence and then decide, is Heracles a superhero?